I wanted to go over the grading rubric I use when scoring your quizzes and exams. And I tried to get away a few number of years ago from just a straight, point system where each problem's worth like this step is 2 points and 2 points and 3 points or whatever. And I try to get more into more of a how the concept of how well it's going, and I use symbols instead of points when I first grade it, and then I assign essentially points to each of the symbols after I grade the work. So I use the symbols alpha if something's perfect, beta if there's a small arithmetic error or one small correction or hint needed to fix it, which would make it perfect. And then gamma is basically that in between, there's work towards a solution. So there's significant work towards solution, but there's also a significant math error in it. And it could be conceptual or it could be just stopping or something like that. And I'll try to show you a couple examples. And then I just use an X if there's some work towards solution. So it's basically just a couple points for maybe getting started. So I say some work towards solution, some mathematical competence demonstrated. So I don't think when I'm grading on purpose in terms of points, like this is worth so many points. I try to attach it to this rubric, which is, of course, my professional judgment. And this is the null set. So that's really an empty set, which means it's not worth anything. So that's if something is completely wrong. And there's really no points I can give. So like maybe this one here, if I saw, so this is just an algebra example. If I saw this, I don't know, and maybe factor the x out. And so x is 0 or x is -1. There's nothing correct there at all. I mean, this step from here to here isn't even correct. I mean, because it's not set equal to 0. So this would be, and I usually use purple for some reason. So this is would be no points at all. There's nothing correct there that I can give. Okay. So it's a major math error, or fallacy. Okay, so pretend you didn't do that. Let's do something else. So let me show you another case. So solve it, you need to factor it, right? So suppose you factor it. Oops, let me change the colors on that. So you factor it. Oops, usually you write in, I usually have a darker background, but this time I didn't. So it's product of two binomials, set equals 0. So this is getting started correctly. X and X, and then 2 and 3. And so on something like this, let's suppose you just did, I don't know, 2 pluses or something. That would probably be either an X or there's no way I can give you gamma for that one. So that would be like you got a couple points because you have some, you knew how to set it equal to 0 and factor. So maybe one more step might be, there's a 6 over here, and then you maybe know how to subtract it. So that'd be worth something. Okay, but the factoring itself is completely wrong. So there's really nothing else I can do. Okay, so then the next level might be this. So you factor it, and let's say you factor it correctly. This should be a plus, and this is a minus. And maybe that's it. Maybe you stop, or you don't know how else to go. Well, that might be a gamma because everything's correct. There's significant work towards solution, but it stopped. So maybe the rest is wrong, or there's not. So that would be like you're on the right track, yes, but then there's some significant problems after that. Okay, and then the next level might be something like this. And then you say x is equal to, say, 2 or x is equal to 3. Well, that's still probably a gamma because that's still wrong. And again, I try to be consistent as I go. So I would say that one's that one's probably gamma because of still significant work towards solution. There's still a major math error right here. I mean, you can't do that, right? That's not how you solve. So let's continue. Suppose you solved that correctly so far, and you said -3. All right, so now you're talking about beta area. You're talking about the rest of the solution might be, and let's suppose I say write in a solution set, and then you write maybe just 2 and forget the -3, or you accidentally put a 3 there. And in an algebra class, that would be a problem. Higher levels, I know you have the right answer, so I'm not too concerned of the tiny little detail. So this would probably be a beta. Meaning, and I don't think beta. I think there's an arithmetic error or a simple thing that would messed up. I guess that would be beta. Next level might be, so that's the solution, and then I say solution set, or maybe I don't say solution set, and you leave it like that. But there's something else that was asked in the question, or maybe I said, write in the solution set and you didn't, but it's basically right. Then I often, it depends on the levels, of course, I'll often go ahead and give you full credit, but then I'll say, well, but it's not completely perfect. So I have a little wiggle room. You still get full credit, but if you see the minus and I don't write anything, you may want to ask me, like, why is it not perfect? Okay, so I don't do that very often, but I try. It depends on the level of class, what the major concepts are. But just know when I'm grading, I'm thinking in terms of this. I'm trying to force my mind to think in terms of those concepts and not just a point system. In fact, I can and sometimes do change the point system later. And this is like a 10-point question. And that's like a 5-point question, how I might divvy it up. Okay, let's see what else. Oh, and this also helps me be more consistent. So instead of just saying, you're arguing for can I get one more point here, one more point here? That's not how I look at it. I said, well, is there a significant work towards solution or not? Is there a major math error? Is it just one hint, or is it multiple major concepts? So if it's a major concept, you're just going to be down here. If it really is just a hint or one little step, then that might be a couple points taken off. But I don't take off, oh, this is worth 1 point, this is worth 2 points. I say it's that. It's going to be the beta case. And then I go in and say that's probably an 8. Okay, and it usually balances out in the end because sometimes you get more points than you shouldn't have and less points. So it ends up being a pretty good grading system. And I think I've been able to be in the last 10, 15 years a lot more consistent. I forget when I started doing this. But anyway, that's just a quick overview of the grading rubric.